Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tearing down one of the boldest bets in the entire tech industry, Wolfspeed's multi-billion-dollar gamble to own the future of electronics. Now, this is a massive story about ambition, risk, and breakthrough technology. And by the time we're done here, you'll know exactly what to look for in 2026 to decide for yourself if this incredible wager is about to pay off.
Okay, let's just jump right in. When you think about what makes an EV go, your mind probably goes straight to the battery, right? And look, that makes sense. But the real revolution, the thing that's actually dictating range, how fast you can charge, and the car's overall performance, it's a tiny little component you've probably never even heard of. You see, it all boils down to a battle of materials. For decades, we've had traditional silicon. It's been the workhorse of electronics forever. But now we have this revolutionary compound called Silicon Carbide, or SiC. And for high-power jobs, SiC is it's just flat out better. It's way more efficient, it can handle way more heat, and it lets you build things smaller and lighter. For something like an electric car, this isn't just an improvement, it's a total game changer. And listen, this is so much bigger than just cars. SiC technology is the key that's unlocking the next generation of, well, pretty much everything. We're talking more efficient solar farms, more powerful 5G networks, and even the massive industrial power supplies that run the data centers for our entire digital lives. The potential market here is absolutely enormous. So, with a prize that huge on the line, what happens? Well, one company, Wolfspeed, decided to bet its entire future on winning that prize. So picture this. Back in 2021, a pretty well-known company called Cree Incorporated made a radical move. They sold off all their other businesses, changed their name to Wolfspeed, and went completely all in on a single mission, to be a pure-play powerhouse that controls the entire silicon carbide supply chain. We're talking from growing the raw crystals all the way to fabricating the finished chips. And when I say all in, I am not kidding. They've committed to a staggering $6.5 billion global expansion plan. This isn't just building a new factory. This is one of the biggest strategic bets in the history of the U.S. semiconductor industry. It's a full-on attempt to drag the entire sector into a new technological standard. And the absolute heart of this gamble is right here, the John Palmer Manufacturing Center in North Carolina. This is a $5 billion facility being built for one reason and one reason only, to master and mass produce a new, larger, and much more efficient 200mm SiC wafer. Getting this right is the key to their entire plan. The goal for this JP facility is, frankly, breathtaking. They're aiming for a 10-fold increase in their raw materials capacity. By getting to that kind of unprecedented scale, the plan is to feed their own chip factory with cheaper, better wafers than anyone else on the planet and basically corner the market. But you know how these stories go. Making a bet this big, this audacious, well, it comes at a very, very steep price. And this is the question on every investor's mind, right? If this technology is really the future, why on earth is the company's balance sheet bleeding so much red ink? Well, the answer is pretty simple. It costs an immense amount of money to build the future today, before it's actually here. This slide just captures their financial pain perfectly. On the left, you've got the revenue coming in from their brand new Mohawk Valley chip factory, a solid $97 million. But look at the bar right next to it. That's the problem. $47 million in costs, just because the factory is running way below its full capacity. It's like paying the mortgage and utilities on a giant mansion that's still mostly empty, waiting for the furniture to arrive. This massive cash burn created some serious headwinds. We're talking negative gross margins, which means they were actually losing money on the products they sold, and just huge negative free cash flow. The pressure got so intense that in mid-2025, the company made the bold move of a voluntary Chapter 11 reorganization. Now, this wasn't a collapse, it was a strategic move, like a pit stop in a race to reset their finances for the long haul. And yet, despite all that financial turmoil, management has been out there projecting total confidence. And they can point to their customer list, which has giants like General Motors and Toyota. These guys aren't just placing orders, they're signing long-term supply deals, locking in access to this tech for years to come. So this sets up the big race. And it's not just a race against their own bank account. It's a frantic sprint against some fierce global competition and a clock that is ticking loud. Yeah, let's be really clear here. In the market for the finished SiC chips today, Wolfspeed is not the leader. Not yet, anyway.
As you can see from the 2023 data, rivals like Europe's ST Microelectronics and the US-based onsemi have major market share, and they're also investing billions. This has become an all-out sprint to see who can get to high-volume, cost-effective manufacturing first.
Which means it all comes down to this. This internal timeline, this is everything. The whole strategy hinges on this sequence. That John Palmer Materials factory absolutely has to start shipping those new 200mm wafers over to the Mohawk Valley chip factory by the summer of 2025. Hitting that target is the one thing, this single leverage point, that could flip their entire financial story upside down.
So this brings us to the core question. For anyone watching this company, maybe you're an investor, maybe you're just trying to understand the future of tech, how will we know if this high-stakes gamble is actually working? By 2026, what are the signs you should be looking for?
Well, before we get to that checklist, there's a huge wild card you have to factor in here. Government support. You see, the U.S. government views domestic semiconductor manufacturing as a matter of national security. And that means Wolfspeed isn't just getting a pat on the back, they're getting a massive financial safety net from programs like the CHIPS Act. And this is not some vague promise. This is real money. On December 1st, 2025, Wolfspeed got a cash tax refund of nearly $700 million. That one event instantly pumped up their total cash to about $1.5 billion, giving them a critical cushion to finish this race without running out of gas.
So here it is, your 2026 progress report. The 3 crystal clear numbers that will tell the true story. First, is that Mohawk Valley factory running at more than 70% capacity? That's the magic number that makes most of those painful underutilization costs disappear. Second, have their gross margins finally turned positive? And third, the big one, is the company starting to generate cash instead of just burning through it?
So what's it going to be? A visionary bet that redefines an entire industry? Or a costly, ambitious blunder? The strategy is set, the factories are almost done, and the clock is ticking. By watching those 3 key metrics into 2026, the answer is going to become very clear. By then, the chips will have fallen. Thanks for joining us.